Hello, welcome to the latest episode of Driving with Dan. This is episode 25 and today is the 16th of May. Not much has happened this week, so it might be quite a short video. First thing is Tesla, and they've had a bit of a publicity stunt. The Royce Cullinan, I mentioned it last week, but just got a few more details to fill in. A car that I've spotted today, and something that just kicked off today, an event in Italy. In the centre, well, all of Italy, really. Right. Yes, let's go. Yes, so, the first topic is Tesla, and they've just had a bit of a publicity stunt. If I'm honest, it's one that they've needed. Tesla have been sort of under fire a bit recently. Quite literally in some cases. And yeah. They're needing a bit of help to sell some of their cars, let's just say. So, one of their advertising methods is to pull a plane. It seems to be quite a standard sort of thing, actually. Publicity stunts try and sell the car. Is pull a heavy object and see if the car can do it. And that's what they've done this time. It was a, 787 Dreamliner. They decided to tow that, only across like a flat taxiway. And it did, which is fair play, you know, that does prove the technology. I believe it was a completely standard example. Nothing had been changed or modified on it. And it pulled it. So, you know, it means the electric drivetrain is pretty strong, because yes, it does have a lot of torque, and yes, it's all instant, but that's still a lot of weight to be towing. And it shows that it does sort of fit in the market well. And sorry, that was a Model X, I didn't actually specify. It was a Model X, so it sort of fits in the market well of sort of an SUV. It's got to have a high towing weight, and you know, I bet you some SUVs that are petrol powered couldn't pull the plane. Like, we haven't seen anything about Alfa Romeo Stelvio. We haven't seen anything about that towing, apart from on Top Gear. And that was only towing a horse box. So we haven't seen anything else. So how does that tow? Oh, 4-cylinder Mustang. Oh, I don't know what I think of that. Anyway, yeah, so it pulled a 787. It's quite heavy. But then again, you know, it's on wheels, so it'll roll fairly easily. But, you know, it did it, so fair play. Yeah, the cars in front are going really slow. Yeah, that was it. Tesla trying to sort of, you know, just prove that technology's there, but, you know, yes, the car may be able to tow it, but what's the build quality going to be like? Yeah, I don't know what I think of Tesla at the moment. You know, fair play, they're still going, but you know, when you hear about all this debt that they're producing now, you know, it's they're costing more than they're making. You know, they've put down the infrastructure, so well done to them. I think that's pretty much the main aim, selling a few cars, which is just to prove that it's doable. Yes, so that happened. What's next? Yeah, so the next thing is the Rolls Royce. So I mentioned this last week, so if you want to go back to that episode if you really want to know a bit more. But at that point, the embargo hadn't actually been lifted, just people were posting pictures online. But now the embargo has been lifted. So here, have some pictures. There we are. And I think people's favourite feature is almost the tailgate, I think. I mentioned this in the last video, it's got some seats in it. And it looks very good. And that whole boot space is completely customizable, so it doesn't have to be seats, it's just this little thin rack where those seats are kept. You could put anything you want, so say you like shooting, that could be a gun rack, say you like, you know, it's got a lot of customization in that boot, which is good to see, but everyone's going, oh, it's very original, why hasn't anybody thought this before? But Range Rover had it years ago. It wasn't from Range Rover, it was aftermarket, but they created basically a shelf in the back and you could have anything you wanted. Yeah, no, but it does look very good, and from factory, what more do you want, really? And it doesn't even rob that much boot space, which is the big problem with that. you can imagine, well, how much boot space does it actually have? And it doesn't take too much. So, yeah, well done. And then, of course, it's a Rolls Royce. You haven't seen any actual footage on the roads yet. None of that information has been put out yet. But I think we know what it's going to be like. It's going to ride very, very well. It's going to be fairly capable off-road. I'm not going to say it's going to be the most capable, but I think it will also just be, yeah, well upholstered. It's a Rolls Royce after all. It's got to stick to its name. And I think it'll be better than the Bentayga. Just because it's a Rolls Royce, it looks better. Well, I'm still not sold from the back of it. The Bentayga's rear end looks better. It's a Rolls Royce. Can't afford it. Can't complain about it, can I? But yeah, very nice. And I want to see what people do with it. You know, the Rolls Royce are constantly being changed and adjusted. And well, actually, what I was just thinking is, what about the black badge? Rolls Royce Cullinan black badge. Put that alongside a Range Rover SVR. Wonder how they'll compare. I mean, they'll be very different. I wonder how they'll do. So yes, that's that topic. If you want to know more, go watch the last video where I spoke about it more. Yeah, no, this week's been a bit dull. Nothing has really happened, like, at all. Yeah, so then this week I spotted a Nissan Escargot, and if you don't know what that is, it is, well, a Nissan van, small van that was developed in late 90s to look like a snail. Here's a picture. There we are. Yeah, so it's made to look like a snail, and it does. You don't see many of them around. I don't know how many they made, not many. And yeah, very cool. I mean, like, it's not at all performance related, it's not even big, it's not practical, it's just weird. Fantastic, so I like it. And then also this week, it's the Millimedia. It's just started today. Well, all the press stuff has started today. I think it truly starts tomorrow. And yeah, I can't really say much about it now, but try and follow it as much as you can on social media across all of the platforms, because I'm sure everyone will be trying to post as much as they can from it, because it's such a fantastic event. Yeah, no, it should be good. I can't wait to see some more of that, and I think I'm really going to be trying following the Jaguars, but I don't know who's going to be posting from Jaguar sort of perspective this year. Oh, what's this bus doing? Jesus Christ. There is a cyclist cycling on the outside of a bus, which is indicating right. Some people. Oh, someone's got a parking ticket. That's a Range Rover Evoque with a parking ticket. Ouch. Yeah, no, so that's happened. Try and follow it as much as you can. Right, so the last thing is going to be a bit special. I've been debating this for a while, and it's actually doing a Doug-style score on the C1. I'm not going to call it a Doug score for many reasons, but if you're wondering what I am about, go and check out Doug Demura on YouTube. He does fantastic stuff. You've probably seen one of his videos before by just bumping into him, because he does some fantastic content. Yeah, so go and find that and go and watch that. But then, this car needs a Doug score, because of course Doug's in America, and they don't get this car over there. So the chances of him doing a Doug score on this car, very slim. So we're going to quickly do one now. And so the Doug score is split up into two categories. You get the weekend and daily. And I feel like this car will not do very well. So it's meant to sort of say overall how a car is judged. But most of Doug's cars he tests are exotics or, you know, luxury vehicles, much like Rolls Royce and even Bentleys at some aspects. So I wonder how this car will do. And it's out of 100 in total. And yeah, I don't know what it is. So the first topic then of the weekend category is styling. Now this car's a small car. It was designed about, I don't know, coming up 13, 14 years ago. So it's not the prettiest car. It's also cheap. It's also, you know, very simple. So styling, I would give it, I'm gonna say a Aston Martin V12 in the, you know, the acid green sort of colour, you know, the yellowy green, very nice. Yeah, no, I would give this a 1 or a 2 out of 10. I'm gonna say 2. It's not the ugliest car on the road. It's not a PT Cruiser convertible. So I'm gonna give it a 2. The next category is acceleration. Now this car's a 3-cylinder. It's producing, I think, about 50 brake horsepower, but it does weigh 700 kilograms. But that gives its acceleration a 1. Handling. Now this is an interesting one. I'm going to say it's not got any play in it. It goes where you want it to go. But it's quite a tall profile on the tyres, so that gives it a bit of understeer and a bit of play in the tyre itself. So I'm going to give it a 2. Fun factor, now, because it's a 3-cylinder, because it's naturally aspirated, because it's very light, because it's front-wheel drive, it is quite fun to drive. You can really quite rev it out. It goes to 6,500 RPM. So, no, it is quite a fun car, I'll give it that. Yeah, so I'm going to give the fun factor, I'm going to say 5. You know, it's not the most fun car in the world, no, I accept that. It is slightly underpowered. But it is quite fun just to go on a little short country road and have a bit of fun. I mean, a private road is what I meant. And then cool factor. Yeah, 1. It's certainly not cool. They're everywhere. And most of them are in quite bad condition. So, a 1. Yes. So that gives it a weekend category. I can't remember. Here it is. Out of 50. So now we're on to the daily category. And features. This car is kind of short on features. We've got a radio, we've got air conditioning, and electric windows. That's it. It has got a CD player, there we are, you know. Yeah, so features, it's a 1, maybe a 2, air conditioning. I'm gonna give it a 2. Next one, comfort. There are some quite cheap plastics in here. Listen to that. So, you know, it's not the highest quality. We've got some bare metal. So, it's quite a low score there as well. So, quality, but it's reliable. I haven't had a single issue with this car. So, I'm going to give it a 2. Practicality. It's got 4 seats. It's got 4 doors. It's got a boot. I'm going to give it a 3. The boot is very small. The seats aren't very comfortable. I wouldn't want to do a very long way in the back of the car, especially with someone next to you. But it does drive and it does everything you need it to, and it can go pretty much anywhere on road. So yeah, I'm going to say that. There we are. And then value. This is a cheap car. There's no excuses for that. It is a cheap car. It will probably continue to depreciate all the way down into the few hundreds once it's quite a few years old. So the value, you can't really argue with it, really. It does everything it needs to, and it does it well. So where would I value? I'm going to say the value is about a 5, because it does everything you need. It's kind of a laugh, which you didn't really expect from it. Yeah, no, 5. So there we are. In total, I've got, there we are, fantastic. And that's all right, you know. It's not the strongest score. And if you want to see what Doug has reviewed the rest of the scores, go onto his YouTube And then in the description, he has got what are they called? A Google document. And in there, he's got every single car that he's reviewed and what he's viewed it. And there we are. It's what's around this car. So what's on top? There we are. And below, there we are. Yeah, no. So there we are. Not strong, but there we are. You know, it's quite good fun. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. It's been a bit dull this week, so I had to do something a bit different. Well done for us to making it to 25 videos, and let's go for another 25, in which case that'll be 50th episode, which is amazing. It'll probably be dark again, you won't be able to see anything, but we'll gloss over that. Yes, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Cheers!